balance having a super familiar user experience with delivering terrific new improvements, in particular, including a space you can personalize with live tiles for your favorite apps, people, and websites. Start menu, you'll see things like my Me tile, and you'll see a simple power button where people can do the things that they commonly expect to do, like hibernate or sleep or turn off their PC. At the top are the pinned apps. In the middle is the most used list, same concept on Windows 7. And then things like the All Apps button are in a place that people would expect, so I can click that and see all my apps. And the little details really matter here as well. Things like jump lists. When I go to File Explorer, it expands in place to show familiar jump lists that Windows 7 users are used to. So the analogy that we've been using internally, we want all these Windows 7 users to have the sentiment that yesterday they were driving maybe a first-generation Prius, and then when they got Windows 10, they didn't have to learn to drive something new, but it was as if we got them a Tesla. And so now there's some fancy, exciting new features, like an 18-inch touchscreen, and there's more room for passengers and cargo, and the sound system is way better, but they don't have to learn any new way to drive. And when you think about new features, as I said, we'll talk more about those later, but some of them start to peek right into the core experience. So, of course, here, familiar to Windows 8 users, we have live tiles, which our customers really like for the ability of getting information from apps, seeing what's happening with apps, and developers like that connection with their audience. And so in our testing so far, this blend has worked really well. It gives the familiarity of Windows 7 with some of the new benefits that exist in Windows 8. And of course, it's really easy to use. If I want to grab an app like Facebook here and drag it over, I can pull it into a space, choose where I want to drop it. In this case, you can see the start menu is getting a little wider, but we left this little space right there so I could drop an item in.
The worker at these companies will be immediately productive. They will know how to do things immediately within Windows 10. They will find all of the tools they are used to finding. Windows 10 is to be compatible with all of the apps, tools, and systems that these customers are using today. The second discussion will be about modern management. Within an enterprise today, there's an incredible challenge with all of the new devices that are trying to connect to the corporate network. Windows 10 will be compatible with all of the traditional management systems that are used today with Windows devices. But to adopt to this new wave of devices, a new way of managing things is developed, commonly called mobile device management, or MDM. Windows phones and tablets support MDM today, but with Windows 10, customers will be able to use MDM to manage all of their Windows devices, not just the phones and tablets, but PCs, phones, tablets, industrial Internet of Things devices can all be managed consistently through one MDM interface. Like the challenge of managing multiple devices is the challenge of managing the proliferation of apps. So with Windows 10, our enterprise customers will be able to customize the App Store, ensure that their employees and their devices have access to just the right apps, ensure they buy just the right number of licenses for those apps, and those apps can be consistently updated and managed across the enterprise, across all of their devices. And last but not least, security. In today's world, the enterprise has an incredible challenge protecting their corporate data, and doing this in a way that ensures the end user's productivity and the way end users want to work, but still gives the enterprise the security they're looking for. Windows 10 has a very novel approach of separating corporate and personal data across all of the devices and protecting the corporate data wherever it goes, whether that's on a BYOD device or on a managed device within the enterprise. Windows 10 is going to be our greatest enterprise platform ever.
One of the biggest new features in Windows 8 was the Windows App Store. But when you ran an app, it was always full screen, optimized for a tablet-type device. Apps from the Windows Store now open in the same format that your desktop programs do. You can resize them and move them around. And they have title bars at the top, so you can maximize, minimize, and close with a click. First,
We've added a new Task View button, so you can quickly switch between all your open apps. Simple. We've improved the way Windows snap so that it's easier and more powerful. When you snap a window, Windows will make smart suggestions on filling the available screen space with other open apps. You can also now have up to 4 apps snapped on the same screen. If you're working on a lot of different projects using different apps and files, try adding a desktop. Adding a desktop keeps things neatly organized for you. Or you can create a desktop for the things you do at work and a separate one for the things you do at home.
So I'm going to go in here and launch the command prompt. I know some of you are command prompt familiar users, as am I, although not frequently. And there are some things that are pretty annoying about the current Windows command prompt. Like you can't Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste, and the keyboard shortcuts that you have in your muscle memory for selecting text don't really work the way you'd expect. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch back over here to my mail app, where you will maybe have already noticed. I have this mail from Dave Barnett, who's been working with our IT team creating experimental line of business app installer scripts, which I've downloaded, and I haven't got them working right. He wants me to send him a directory listing of what's in this folder. So I'm going to Control-C to select that. I'm going to come back here to the command prompt. I'm going to type CD to change directory, and then Control-V to paste. Hit Enter. I'm going to do a dir. There's my directory listing. That was not so easy with the old command prompt. And now for those of you with keyboard shortcuts in your muscle memory, if you want to select 6 lines of text going up, what button do you hold down? What key? Come on. Shift. Thank you. So I'll hold down the Shift key and up arrow. And if you want to select by word, what key do you additionally press? To select by word. Come on. Control. Thank you. So yes, now I can Control-Shift and go through here, select the stuff in my command prompt, hit Control-C, Alt-Tab, back to my mail, reply, paste, voila, job done.